Hello everyone and welcome to Amani's Lightwork Keys to Akasha section of my channel. If you are a new subscriber, welcome. It's great to have you here. If you're just visiting, that's perfectly fine as well. If you decide to stay, that's cool. I know it may sound like a bit of a reiteration for those who have been and who have visited this section of my channel before, but I just want to make sure that everyone is on board into what this channel, or at least this section of the channel, represents. Okay, so Keys to Akasha, the only thing that gets covered here would be celebrity news. And when I say celebrity news, I'm talking about celebrity passings or the overall status of the celebrity in aspects of their life, whether they passed or whether they're living. I also cover news cases, politics, missing persons reports, etc. Okay. And every case and reading that is covered here is solely based on channeling and interpretation. And that means that I'm using my ability in the aid of spirit to get these readings done. Okay. If you have any personal inquiries about this section of my channel, you can send me a direct message to my Instagram at AmaniIfe777. Okay. So I actually got a request from a subscriber to do and look into Jonathan Majors. And Jonathan Majors is one of the protagonists in the Lovecraft Country series. So if you haven't watched it, I suggest that you do. It's a cool series. It's really interesting. A lot of metaphysics that we're dealing with. We're dealing, science. We're dealing with astronomy, ethereal, pretty much our existence and the interconnection between our existence, possibly socio-cultural anthropology intertwined with the metaphysics, and it's a really cool perspective. If you check my Instagram page, I do make those kind of connections as well, so that's why I'm really into the show, and I suggest that if you haven't watched it, it's really cool. And it's interesting. Okay, so some of the actors' names I will include in the reading only because he will be directly involved with them, because they're his they would be his co-cast or his co-workers in a sense, and their signs. I know he has I know Journey Smollett is a Libra, Abby Lee, I believe she's a Gemini, and then the woman that played Journey's sister is a Leo. So those are a few signs there. There's male Pisces, female Pisces elements that he has around him as well. So this will be about his life. I know the subscriber that asked me to read for him wanted me to look into his overall career, his love life, etc. Okay, but what I'll try to do is touch on a little bit of everything. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, so I forgot to say his sign. He is a Virgo, born September 7, 1989. Okay. All right, so Mr. Major, such a profound, such a powerful last name to have, I should say. Good life path number possibly as well too, and but of course it's all in a name. Destiny is all in a name, pretty much. Okay, the Five of Pentacles energy is underneath, so this is his energy, and I'm getting the idea of taxes. Typically with actors. I wouldn't know. I mean, I've tried this before, in terms of that industry and in the music industry. I know I asked my sister because she used to work for Universal, but in terms of the terminology, there's certain terminologies that, I'm going to try my best to interpret without knowing, or at least having a textbook of music industry terminology, or music industry and acting industry terminology, Hollywood terminology, in terms of when they're dealing with their finances and lawyers and acting agents and things of that nature. But anyway, I was getting the idea of taxes. So I would say that taxes, typically, as an actor, when you're dealing with taxes, taxes in a sense where the gigs that they're taking up, all of those gigs are taxable because of where they get shown. So for example, he's an actor. I know I did this for, what's the lady? I did this for Megan Thee Stallion. I did that for her as well too, where there's taxable situations and that are happening. And taxable things would be if he's in a commercial, if they're in commercials, that gets marketed. It's not only getting marketed, but it gets taxed because their face is shown in it, their voice is in it. So those are things that need to be collected over time. If they're not collected or paid attention to over a course of series of times, or at least when that commercial or that part of the show is aired and they're in it and they're not receiving anything from it, then that can become a problem for them. That could become a problem for their manager or their lawyer, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to make sure that that's clear. That's my basic understanding of it from when I did Megan Thee Stallion's reading, or any living celebrity. That's my basic understanding of what they deal with. Whereas it's taxable things, or at least taxable gigs and commercials and voiceovers and appearances that are taxable, that need to be collected, or at least need to be paid attention to. So if they're doing a number of things, I mean, I will understand that that is what the manager is there for. The manager, the lawyer, is there, their responsibility is to look after the actor's portfolio, look after the actors, see what gig they're getting, look to see if there's a gig open for them and those kind of things. So I can understand, like I said, if somebody isn't paying attention to that, then that could pretty much go into somebody else's pocket without the actor or the actress being aware of that. And that's what's really important. That was just all an example. That could be what most of them deal with. But I get the black. So when I said most of them deal with, the spirit said the black actors. That wouldn't be something that white actors deal with. I mean, that would be considered, I guess, the Hollywood secrecy when they're giving black actors and actresses favoritism, where they're missing out on payments. And those payments go to a higher up that run that industry, and they can get swindled in that sense. So it's important for them to pay attention to their returns. It's important that they make sure that somebody, or they have a proper lawyer that can look after that for them. But the spirit said black. So that's something that happens to black actors and actresses. That happens to black musicians, female rappers. That happens to them with their information and commercials, and people making money off of their commercials and appearances that they're not benefiting from. Yes, they have money. Yes, they're rich. But everything that their wealth, a percentage of their wealth is owned by somebody else. Okay? And that could be why the Five of Pentacles energy is there. That could be something that he knows that's happening to another actor or actress, or that could be something that he realized about himself as an actor, singular, by himself, and at least being aware of that, or at least having a lawyer around that can run him through that protocol and terminology and help him understand, this is what you need to protect. This is the kind of lawyer that you need to have. This is the kind of manager that you need to have, because the manager and the lawyer, it's important that maybe he look for his own lawyer if he doesn't have one. If he's getting one appointed to him, by an agency, that could be a good idea or not a good idea. Because if it's like, I mean, race may not necessarily be tied into it, but I'm just going with the idea of what the spirit said, because that may be something that happens to black actors all the time that they need to pay attention to. So it's important that I'm not saying that he can't take a recommendation for a black lawyer from somebody white in the agency. They're connected, so therefore they're going to benefit hand in hand with his information. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying that he's an intelligent guy. He can find his own lawyer. He can have somebody black appoint a proper lawyer to him, help him manage his things. So that's something that a lawyer is responsible for, or just a regular manager, music, acting industry lawyers and those kind of things, and his taxes and his money, and if he's making anything from his appearances, whatever appearances and gigs he's trying to take up. The Tower energy is in the starting point, so the Tower will be the sign of Scorpio, if he has any Scorpio elements around him, or it's just Tower information. It's just Tower because of information. So it's information coming from a Scorpio. It's information coming from it could be information, like I just explained, from a manager or a lawyer and those kind of things as well. But their taxes. So when I said a lawyer and a manager, something is happening with their taxes separately. So I would deem him to have a manager already. I don't know if he has a lawyer. I would think he would have one, but something's going on with their taxes separately. They have their own lives. There's someone that their responsibility is to look after what he has going on, but they may benefit also, or something is happening with their taxes being intertwined with his. That's how they make money, though. So the Tower is that's how they make money. The Tower with the Five of Pentacles would be a percentage, like I just explained from the beginning, would be a percentage of pay that he's supposed to receive for his work, goes into the pocket of a lawyer, goes into the pocket of a manager, and something, but an extra percentage. When I said the pocket of a manager, an extra percentage goes into the pocket of a manager, goes into an account of a manager. So something along those lines he could be aware of, or didn't tell him yet, something he could be aware of. And then another side of it is he's not being told yet. So it's not something that someone is trying to make him aware yet. So they may tell him a couple of months from now. They may tell him a couple of weeks from now. They could even damn well wait years to tell him that. So it just depends on, I get when something gets noticed, or at least if he starts paying attention to something. I get a transaction. If he starts paying attention to some type of transaction that he's going to eventually be involved in, or he already did it, or he didn't do the transaction yet. Well, some type of transaction. The transaction could be contractual between him and a lawyer, between him and his acting agency, between him and a manager or multiple managers. That can also be observed as transaction, or transaction fees and contractual agreements between those elements there. They know what to do. So when I say that too, they know what to do, either to help him, or they know what to do in terms of helping themselves, in terms of them receiving a percentage of. I also get allowances too. I don't know what that would be talking about. Something's going on here with allowances, like some type of allowance. Like, I don't know if that's something that he gives them, or someone else takes out of his pay to give them, something like that. Like, it's an allowance. I don't know what that would be. The Ace of Cups energy is in a waiting position. There's a lot of water sign energy here. So the Scorpio could be someone that he knows, or it's just Tower energy to a situation. A Tower with the Scorpio could just be someone that is in the industry. They could be embodying the energy of a lawyer, a manager, whoever. That doesn't have to be somebody's sun sign. That could just be the energy of the industry or someone in it. So when I said the energy of the industry is the energy of someone in this. Okay, it is the energy of someone in the industry. Tower is the energy by itself. It is the energy of the industry, period. Whatever that means. But the Ace of Cups is in a waiting position because he's thinking, he's thinking that he wants to hire someone that is in the industry. Like, hire them, hire them to investigate. Hire them to investigate what's going on with his taxes. Hire someone to investigate where a percentage of his pay from his shows and his gigs, and when he goes, if he does commercials and those kind of things, someone he may want to hire to manage if he doesn't already have. So I get someone new. He may want to get someone new. That's why the Ace of Cups energy is in the waiting position. Ace of Cups typically would resonate with the energy of a relationship, but it's the Ace of Cups because it's just an overall offering that he just wants to give somebody new, that he's saying he wants to give someone new to help him manage his things, and someone that he was appointed to, someone that he chose, someone that someone else recommended he work with or be with. I think they steal. So when I said they steal, so that could be a manager that he already has may steal. He could be realizing something about that manager or that lawyer now, that is something's going on with stealing with that person. So however he's deciding to find out that information, he is then inquiring about switch. He is then inquiring, how can I switch out this person? I don't know if this is happening between him and a castmate necessarily. That could be, or it's just like another manager, or it's a manager that they're appointed or they find on their own. I would deem them to have people in the industry appoint a manager or someone to them, but not good. So when I said it's something that isn't good, that is happening along those lines like that. Like, he's doing well as an actor. It's the people. He's doing well as an actor. It's just the people or a person that he's being appointed that is supposed to be hooked up to manage his things for him, his occurrences and his showings and things that he is in, like commercials and what do you call it? Commercials and whatever it is that he's doing. But I don't know what the name would that be, with his showings and those kind of things, and him being shown, someone that's responsible for keeping an eye on that. He's saying that he wants to switch out because something's going on with that person stealing. So either he noticed it, or someone else in the industry ran that by his attention, that your manager that you found or someone appointed for you, they take taxes. When I said that they're taking taxes from him. So that's why the Five of Pentacles energy is underneath. Because what's interesting about these actors and the actresses is that on the surface, when they're shown on TV, I mean, this is anyone's lives. When they're shown, no one is really talking about what's happening financially behind the scenes with them. Or those are things that they may be troubled by, that they may not show. It's not visible, or people may not know that they struggle with those things. They're regular people, they have the same struggles as everyone, so it's the idea is to put on a smile for the general public, but they're struggling to maintain. I wouldn't say they're struggling, but it has something to do with the people or the choice of a person or people that they have intertwined with their finances, or at least someone or particular group of people or person that is responsible for doing that. Because what's happening is that once they become busy, they need assistance. Once they become busy, they need agents and those kind of things. They need agents to look after that. An agent may be weaning off of something as well too. So they may pay them, or the industry pays their agents for them, or their managers for them. But they also take a percentage out of their pay somehow. It isn't, like I said with the other readings, it isn't something that is noticeable because they make so much money. It's not something that's noticeable, but it is something because it doesn't belong to someone else. It belongs to them. Especially if you're dealing with taxes. Like taxes, people can easily get away with that. People can easily, like agents or managers, lawyers, people can easily reuse information and say that they wanted this shown in this area. He wanted his picture posted on this website. He or she wanted their picture portfolio posted here. So all that is generating revenue, but that generated revenue isn't going into his account. It's going into someone else's when it's really supposed to be his. But that's something that happens to them overall. Like that's something that not only he deals with, they deal with in the music industry, that they deal with that. That's why they take breaks, or they people looking for them, their fans looking for them. They don't know where they are because they're somewhere taking a break, trying to fix some type of financial situation. It just depends on what's going on there. The President has the Three of Swords energy. So the Three of Swords is air sign. That could be Journey Smollett's energy. It's air. The Abby Lee is also Abby Lee. If you've seen the show, Abby Lee is the white. She's the white woman that was. I guess she would be like kind of like a neutral character. I say neutral in the sense where she's part protagonist and she's part antagonist in the series. So I deem her to be like a neutral character. But she's an air sign element as well. She's an air sign element. Her and Journey Smollett. But their taxes. So when I said that something's going on with their taxes too. Their taxes too. Or their information too. Or they're paid too. Abby Lee may get paid more. And she's an antagonist. It just depends on what's going on there. Or she's a neutral character. But supposed to get paid less. So when I said a neutral, like the spirit agrees with the example that I'm giving, like people that are playing neutral roles, like a neutral character, they're supposed to be paid less, or they're like a partner character, but not necessarily the main character. His name is Atticus in the show. He's like the main character. He's the protagonist. And then Journey Smollett's character would be his partner character. But make the same. So when I said that too, they make the same. Because both of them together would be like main characters. But he would be in position 1 when it comes to main character. But something's going on. Oh, I understand what's happening. Something is going on, whereas, say, okay, Abby Lee's character, the spirit said she's supposed to get less. Okay, she's supposed to get paid less, or she may make this, but not supposed to. She may make the same as them, but she's really not supposed to. Something like that, because she's not necessarily like a main character. But she gets either close to what they make or maybe even more because of taxes. She gets close to what they make or maybe even more because of taxes. So that's Journey Smollett or that's Abby Lee. She makes more, or she makes close to what they make or even more because of taxes. But I get this idea, what's interesting that's coming to mind. I also get this idea of a promise. So someone could have made her a promise. Or Journey Smollett a promise. Made him a promise. Or someone's really interested about a promise. So I don't know. I know he's been in other roles before. I understand. I know that I think he's been in other roles before. And I think in his other roles paid less. In his other roles, he may have been paid less than, he may have been paid less for the rightful role that he was in. Say, for example, he's playing an antagonist, or he's just like a random character in a show. He's not necessarily the main character. He may have been paid precisely because of the type of role. But because, I understand, but because what's happening now, that may have happened once to him before. He noticed or he didn't notice. That may have happened once to him before because of taxes and those kind of things. So now what's happening is that Abby Lee, or whichever white, or Caucasian character that would be playing a role that isn't necessarily a main role, but they're supposed to get a certain percentage less than what a main character makes. And she's getting paid exactly the same or even more for a role that he once played that he got paid for less. It could be because of race and those kind of things. Or a promise that was made to someone as well too. Some type of really interesting promise. Like she could have been promised a portion of pay or something that is supposed to go to him, something like that. In another gig or this one in the show that he's in. So for example, if he's in another show, if he's in a different show or like a short film of some kind, the taxes, like for example, the taxes that he's supposed to have or the pay he's supposed to have. I get a white castmate. When I say that too, something's going on with a white castmate. Yes, she is a white castmate. There's a few other white castmates there, or something. A percentage of that is going into their like account, or their acting. What would you call it? Their acting account. Something is going in there, or that information is going to their agents, or they have whatever it is. Their agents, their lawyers. A percentage of that pay is going to them. You know what I mean? The industry secrecy. So when I say that too, it's industry secrecy. It's Hollywood industry, acting industry secrecy that happens like that. But it's tax related. So people aren't necessarily paying attention to that because it's so ingrained and deep behind the scenes. No one is really paying attention to anything like that. You know, because people are pretty much taken over by the fame and the awards, the attention, and the accolades. No one is paying attention to the taxes. I don't know what the deal is with that. But the Three of Swords in the present, like I said, the investigating, Ace of Cups energy, looking for someone to investigate that. But where she goes. So when I say that, where she goes, where Journey Smollett goes, where Abby Lee goes, that doesn't have to be the energy of only them. That could be another. I'm just feeling female. That could just be the energy of another female. He could be dating somebody and somebody's doing that too. With the Ace of Cups. I don't know if he wants to date one of them or they do. But likes Journey. So when I say he likes Journey, but someone's going on with Journey's taxes. Intertwined with his, or a percentage of Journey's taxes. A percentage of Journey's taxes revenue or something that she makes is really his. Or that's the other white female castmate. Is something that she receives is his. A percentage of what she receives is his, but I'm getting the idea of where she goes. Like where she goes, who she talks to, whatever it is. Where she goes, whatever that means. Or where she went, whatever it is, where one of them went. And there's other female actresses around too. That whatever it is that's going on with them. You know, but I'm looking mostly at Journey. I'm feeling mostly with Journey and Abby, those characters, or their characters that they play, or people that are responsible for managing them. You know, something may be going on with people that are responsible for managing them, or it could be another co-star that he has. But having a tax problem too. Someone that may be having a tax problem too. Like another co-star separate from him and Journey and Abby. There's another co-star that is having tax issues too. They could be the black one. It could be the black one. And the Ace of Cups could be him trying to have a conversation. It's water sign energy. So what's her name? Oh, I forgot the woman's name. What's that woman's name? She played the wife to the man that died. Sorry if I'm giving that away to somebody. She played the wife to the man that died in the first season. I forgot how to pronounce her name. Abin something. You know, she's a water sign. He may be trying to figure out something about her, or something that she knows. You know, or something could be going on with her taxes too. That's why the Three of Swords energy is there. You know what I mean? But I feel like in terms of his relationship and those kind of things and love and attraction, I feel like he really does like Journey. I know she's married. She's got a family and those kind of things already. But I do feel like he has some type of attraction to her, you know. But the Three of Swords, him having an attraction to her, the Three of Swords energy, where she gets money. The Three of Swords energy is also where she gets money, or where a percentage of her money is coming from, or her pay is coming from. Something may not be fair. She is a mixed character, but something may be going on, favoritism. Something may be going on with favoritism that she receives, and that favoritism imply that she make more than him. Or they may be making the same amount, but I'm being drawn back to the promise. They're making almost the same amount, but somebody promised her something that is supposed to be for him. Something really interesting like that. That's why the Ace of Cups is there. The future, Ace of Cups, Three of Swords. The future has the Sun. That's a sign of Leo. So I know the woman that played Journey's sister is a Leo that's there in the future. And it's just success as well, too. He's still a successful actor, okay? The Instincts has the Page of Pentacles energy. So Page of Pentacles could be his job, It could also be a child, you know. There were children in the movie, in the series as well. There were children involved. But that could just be the energy of his job, you know, or a new gig. I get season 2. Something's going on with season 2. Or things that he's finding out before season 2 airs. Or something maybe going on with his role in season 2. Season 2 hasn't come out yet, so I would be thinking that they would be started working on that for next year coming. So I don't know when that season is going to come out necessarily, but it should be next year. It's an Ace of Cups energy here, so one would be like January. That may be when they start working on season 2. You know what I mean? But the Page of Pentacles would be his thinking about his role, thinking about his job and opportunities. You know? He may want to look for another opportunity. I mean, if he stays with, you know, I mean, he's like, you know, he's a prominent figure in this series. So I would deem him to want to stay. But I also get a recommendation. I would deem him to want to stay. But I also get this idea of a recommendation that someone may be trying to give him. So the recommendation has something to do with like a new role in the show or like a totally different show. Whatever that is. Something like that. That's why the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups doesn't have to be him going to someone. Ace of Cups could be someone coming into him to try to give him some type of option or a different recommendation for something else or a different role, or at least to do something differently in the role that he already has in the show. You know what I mean? All right, let's see. His accomplishment has the Ten of Cups energy. And the Ten of Cups will be family. So Ten of Cups will be his family environment. Or at least his acting family. Sometimes actors consider other co-stars to be like family to them in some way. But the Tower is right next to the Ten of Cups energy with that. So I don't know if something's happening with someone in his family necessarily. You know? Someone in his family. I get this idea of like, I don't know if it's like a bribe, like somebody in his family may be trying to get some type of money that he has too. So that could be something that he's aware of. Or something he could have had a conversation with someone about pertaining to a family member or someone in his family. Could be Scorpio, a member that he has in his family or not. You know, the Ten of Cups is an accomplishment though, right next to the Tower. So he could either be visiting family, spending time with family. 10 is also October, like this October, like October that just passed. He could have found out something in October pertaining to a family member or someone that or a person that he's acting with that he deemed to be like family. He's finding out something there. That's why the Tower is right next to the Ten of Cups with the Ace of Cups energy. You know? The spiritual self has the Five of Wands. Hold on 1 second. Let me see something. The spiritual self has the Five of Wands energy. Five of Wands will be fire sign right next to the Ace of Cups. So the Five of Wands energy would be like, you know, like an argument of some kind. It doesn't have to be bad, a debate of some kind in terms of it could be money related, could be position. But I get the recommendation. It's money related and it also has something to do with the recommendation that someone is trying to give him. So it could be an agent, a manager, a lawyer, someone in the industry. You know what I mean? Trying to give him some type of recommendation. You know? But I also get this idea of a lesser role, like to play a lesser role. Something's really interesting about that. Someone may want him to play a lesser role. A lesser role meaning like the role of like I don't know, like a background role or not to be something really interesting about it, not to be seen as much as like a main character role, something like that. Like that's why the Five of Wands is next to the Ace of Cups. That's somebody's recommendation for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So that could be, I get taxes. That could also be a plan to, I see what's going on here. I see what's happening. There's a situation here. Okay, if this is a tax related, hold on 1 second. If this is a tax related situation, then Ace of Cups energy with the Five of Wands, he could be coming in and telling someone, hey, can we switch roles? Can I have a lesser role? Or that could be somebody's voice. That could also be somebody's voice to him. But that's a tax deal. Like, that keeps ringing in my ear all the time. That's something about doing that is a tax deal for someone. It's a tax deal for him. So it has something to do with getting paid. I get rightful pay. It has something to do with receiving rightful pay. So that's either for another actor or actress, or that's him going 501's energy, Ace of Cups. That's him traveling to an agent or a manager or a lawyer to have that exact discussion. So, for example, he, as a black man, as a black male in Hollywood, he's trying to explain to someone, have a discussion or meeting with someone. I think I'm missing something here. I think I'm missing a percentage of pay here. I think I'm missing some taxes. Or I think I'm missing something here. So what they're doing, confused. 501s, somebody could be confused as to why he's coming in with that kind of objective. And that could be the reason why someone needs to investigate a situation like that. That's why somebody needs to investigate a situation like that. I think somebody's trying to swindle me in terms of the taxes, and my pay, a percentage of my pay. What's really going on here? So his suggestion to someone is that he play a lesser role in the show. I guess so he could see something. So when I said so he can see something, he needs to see something. So his suggestion is so that he can see something. Or that could be someone suggesting he play a lesser role could be the same thing. Someone may want him to play a lesser role so he can see, receive a cut. Someone may want him to someone may want him to play a lesser role in the show so that he can receive a cut. Oh, I get it. I get it. This is something, this is some type of system that they have designed where someone who is the main character, whether black or white or whatever, that could be something that just happens to a black. I don't know if that's necessarily, yes, that could be something that happens to black male actors and actresses, but the spirit emphasized that this is something, I'm just going to go with the idea of it being a main character role, period. It gets dispersed. So the main character, their roles, this is really in depth. The explanation. It's a lot of information. The main character's role, I got to put that down for a second. I need both hands. The main character's role, something about the pay or the taxes attached to the main character's role, it gets dispersed because, because, for example, he is the main character. So Journey Smoll's character could then get a percentage. It has something to do with the ratings it has something to do with the ratings that the main character gets. However many ratings the main character gets, all that is calculated. So there's excess calculations that then go into the accounts, or then the other actors, the actresses can then wean off of that excess of percentage of rating that the main character gets, or the revenue that the main character makes. So if, for example, if his face is shown more in a clip, that's more taxes for him. That's more revenue for him. But it's excess. Thus far, it's going to get dispersed. It's going to get dispersed into the accounts, or it's going to get dispersed to other actors and actresses that may have been getting paid less for lesser roles. Hence the reason for why someone is trying to explain to him, I think you should play a lesser role so that you can pretty much regenerate the cut that somebody took from you when you played the main character. Wow. Which is really interesting. I don't know if they do that with, and they may have done that with the Black Panther character too. They could have done that with the Black Panther character too, where there's excess revenue, basically, and the excess revenue is tax calculations that thus far that go into that they get dispersed to actors that play lesser roles. Or if it doesn't get used, or someone doesn't realize that it's getting used, then it's about the ratings. It's about the ratings for each character. The ratings for each character equal revenue, or increase in revenue, whether it's less or more. But that revenue generates a percentage of the ratings generate a percentage of revenue that can thus far get dispersed, and that revenue, like Bitcoin, that revenue gets converted into money. That revenue gets converted into pay for them, for the other actors. So someone is trying to tell him, play a lesser role for season 2 or 3 or whatever many seasons they want to do. Play a lesser role, then I want you to see something. Or play a lesser role. He could have realized something, or someone could have said something to him that was interesting, and his intuition kind of snapped in, like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? You know, when somebody may have been, that could be why, you know what's the situation? Someone could have inquired about wanting to play a lesser role. Like someone may not have wanted to be the main character. Like he may have rushed to be the main character. Like pull a straw to see who becomes the main character. But there's some type of hidden trial or hurdle that comes along. It's a financial hurdle that comes along with being the main character. Is a tax-related hurdle, that revenue and tax and rating hurdle that comes along with being the main actor. So that's something that he needs to investigate. You know, that would be something that he needs to investigate. And it may have been troubling him, or something that somebody had a conversation. If that's one situation, or something's going on with just something is going on with just being a black male actor and dealing with favoritism in Hollywood and somebody getting paid more and for a lesser role and whatever. Somebody may want him to see something. Like if you play a lesser role, maybe you're going to get more. Maybe you're going to get a cut of theirs. I don't know. He may have noticed something. Someone could have brought something to his attention. Whatever it is. Wow. The Five of Wands energy is there. There's a Gemini. What's her name is a Gemini? Abby Lee, white female character. That's Gemini energy there. That's her sign. That's her sign there. Or it's just a partnership that, you know, it could be another earth sign energy that he may want to be in a partnership with. I get this idea, something is going on here with focusing on dating. Like he may think that he may not be able to focus on dating. It may be his finances that he's really focused on right now. I do, like I said from before, I know that he may be interested in Journey. He may be interested in those, one of those co-stars there. I mean, that's typical for, you know, you're playing love scenes with someone, you know, I mean, you can't just play, I mean, that's just human nature. You're not going to play love scenes with someone, not catch feelings for them, whether you're acting or not. You know what I mean? Whether you're acting or not, you know, you're going to start having some type of really interesting attraction to somebody. Whether it's you know, whether it's requited or it's unrequited, you know what I mean, in this Hollywood scene, you know. Sorry, I just need to pause for 1 second. In this Hollywood scene, you know what I mean. So it's important that he investigate. Then the Gemini energy is there in his workplace environment. It's in his headspace. He's thinking about them. Or he's thinking about something that they receive. I didn't know. He's thinking about something that they know. So it could be, if it's not only job environment, then it's just something that a Page of Pentacles energy separately knows, or something that the partnership that he has with a Gemini energy that's a co-star. It could be another Gemini. It's something to do with something that they know. Or something that they receive that they're not talking about. Or some type of favoritism that they receive that they don't express. A favoritism, some type of favoritism that the Gemini energy receives, they're not expressing that. Or they're not explaining it. But it's financial favoritism. It's not only about looks and race and ethnicity. It's like financial favoritism that somebody's receiving over him. But it's about the role. So it's mainly about the role, the ratings, the revenue. Main actor revenue, and main actor ratings percentage, the revenue connected to that, it gets dispersed. So whatever it is, it's really interesting, and more may go to her, or a lot, or the same amount, whatever. but someone isn't really saying it. It's really shadily done, and it doesn't have to be a bad shady. It's really shadily done to the point where like he, as the main actor, or him and Journey being on the front and being seen, is it on the surface they're the ones that are being favored, but behind the scenes the other actors are the white actors or whoever, or the one that is receiving a percentage of something that they receive, him and Journey receive, or just him receive. They receive a percentage of that, but they're not necessary. They may not need the favoritism, or they may not need the extra, what do you call it? They may not even necessarily need to be the ones to be seen. That happens in the music industry too. You know what I mean? Or that's just something that happens with black actors and actresses, period. Whereas somebody's getting paid more behind the scenes that doesn't need the front seat. They already have the back seat of finance behind them. They don't need to be seen. Like, it's about being seen, and being financially stable. The ones who are receiving more, they don't need to be seen. The ones that are to be seen, they're focused on being seen, but they're not looking into what the ones that don't need to be seen are doing behind the scenes with the finances. So they're not paying attention to that, really. Or it may be time to pay attention to that. Or he may have been trying to pay attention to that. I don't know. Something really interesting. The King of Cups, and are you just aware of it somehow? The King of Cups energy is in a changing position, so that could be a Scorpio man. It's a Scorpio, Pisces, Cancerian energy. That's a man. They're in a changing position, so I don't know. Or that could be what's the man that is a water sign? What's the man that's a water sign energy? That actor that played, I think his this could be shown up here, like the actor that plays his uncle. You know, this could be in the energy of another actor, or they're in the industry. They could be anybody that he's interacting with the Ace of Cups. It could be them that he's arguing with. So they could be another castmate. They could be a lawyer. They could be a co-star. They're an agent. They're a manager. Whoever it is that they are. You know what I mean? They're in a changing position. I don't know if that's a partner that he has necessarily. You know what I mean? Or that's someone that likes him. That could be someone that likes him, you know, that he deals with to some extent. But I do feel like he likes women. You know, someone was asking me about his sexuality. I do feel like he likes women, but he may not have an option with Journey necessarily because she's already married. You know what I mean? But he may have this actor. It could be another actor. That's bi. It's another actor that's bi that may like him. I don't know if he has an attraction to that actor, or they have an attraction to him. Someone else that's around. There's an attraction with a King of Cups. And it could be a King of Cups energy that knows that information with the taxes and all that stuff that's happening like that. That could be them that has that information. You know? Or they just know something. They saw something. They heard something. You know? Or the Ace of Cups, like I said, investigations. The Ace of Cups, he could have hooked up a co-star that he's saying that his energy is bisexual. Not his, I mean, I don't know what's going on with him necessarily, but I'm talking about this energy is like this person is bisexual as well. Is a bisexual co-star. That could be the white guy that was playing the love partner of the A.B. Lee's character. I don't know. It could be a white dude, a black dude. That's a water sign. You know? They may like each other. That could be something. They may like each other if that's the case. You know what I mean? I feel like, what's interesting about him is that I'm not going to pin anything on his sexuality necessarily. I'm just going to say that he's that kind of person that may like who he likes. You know what I mean? Like, kind of open. You know, he may be queer. That could be a possibility. Or someone else that is another, that's acting alongside him may be queer. You know? The resolution has the sign of Aquarius. And there's an Aquarian energy there going towards the sun. That's also a sign of Leo. There's an actress that is a Leo too. And there's an Aquarius energy that's there. So 3 of Swords, Aquarian energy, Ace of Cups. So yeah, Aquarius, Libras. You got Aquarian, Libra, Gemini, King of Cups. You got Scorpio. You have Leo. You've got a couple of entities here. Sag possibly as well too. You know, fire sign. I know the guy is a Sag. What's the guy that played the uncle is a Sag. You know what I mean? Something may be going on with him. Or he also had that, the uncle also had a love interest. So something may be going on with the uncle's love interest. I would think would be bi. I don't know his sign. He could be shown up there like as a water sign, male or whatever sign he is. But the Aquarian energy is here. He himself could be embodying Aquarian energy as a star, going towards success. He's still successful as a star, as the actor. But he needs to get something going on with his taxes together. From all of the gigs that he's ever been in, or it's this particular one. The Spirit said this particular one he needs to pay attention to. This particular gig. Yes, he's had other gigs where he may not have been necessarily the main character or whatever kind of character he played in those other gigs. This particular one that he's the main. Because it's funny, because I didn't know who he was until this show came out. So that says something. That says something about how he gets paid. Whether you see whether you notice in a particular actor or actress or not. That says something about how they get paid. You know, because I didn't know who he was until this show came out. You know. All right, so let's see what. So I think I pretty much answered. I mean, he's doing his thing. He just needs to. I get a mentor too. I'm looking at the sun. He may need a mentor. Like, he may need a mentor. Look at acting mentor. Someone that can, that may be what the older co-stars may play that role for him. That's why the Ten of Cups is there with next to the Tower. You know, he may need a mentor. He may require a mentor of some kind. Like an acting mentor, financial mentor. An accountant, somebody like he needs to communicate with. I think immediately. He may need to communicate with someone immediately. He needs to communicate with someone immediately. It's important that it be immediately done. I don't know. Let's see the outcome. See, the thing is, when it comes to noticing something like that, it could take time. So it's when it comes to noticing something like that, it could take time for an action plan to be executed. The Magician card is there in the outcome. Let me do another outcome here. And the King of Swords. So you got King of Swords energy again. And that's the air sign energy. That's a man that they're showing up there again. So it could be the sign of Aquarius that's there. It could be a Libra male. It could be a Gemini man. It's an air sign male that's with the Magician. So they could be a lawyer. You know, it could be air sign that's a lawyer. The air sign could be an accountant. The air sign, somebody's responsible for helping him with figuring out something that's going on with his taxes and his information. You know? Something like that. Or it could be what someone does with it. You know what I mean? They could be a boss. The air sign man could be a boss of some kind, but uses information. So an air sign man could be a boss of some kind. They use his information. They use it. You know, they use their information in some cases, especially if they're like black actors and actresses. They use their stuff. They use it. Like I said, the taxes, and they benefit from them. These industries benefit off of black people, at the work that black people does. The work that black people do in these industries, higher ups, like I said from the beginning, they benefit off of them like that. But what's interesting about it, not seen. For some reason, something about it is not seen. The Magician next to the King of Swords, someone may be mystically doing something so something isn't seen. Somebody could be mystical that is doing that, you know? Someone could be mystical about it. That something isn't being seen there for some reason, you know? So it's almost like if it's mystical, then it's almost like something that he's close to realizing. Something that he would be close to realizing. All of a sudden, someone comes and changes the topic to cause him to forget about what he was even trying to go at somebody about. You know? Well, that's that. All right, so that was Jonathan Majors. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. I try to interpret this as the best way that I possibly can. I might do a part 2 on it. Just depends on what comes after. Okay.